Hi everyone, it's Kathy Loves to Scrap again, and I'm here to share with you the new release of Weekly Sketch 104 from Scrapasketch on Facebook, but you can also join us on Scrapasketch Premium at www.scrapasketch.com and find out some brilliant sketches and also some printables. This is the layout that I'm doing for sketch number 104 for this week. This is my final layout, and as you can see, it's nice and bright and colourful. The sketch is from Lisa, and she has it on her Facebook page, so you can have a look at it there at Facebook and follow on. Alright, so I have started by adding some background stars because of the photo and adding that it's a Christmas time one in the lights. I'm using my absolute best and favourite stencil from Lisa that you can purchase at www.scrapasketch.com. These stencils are very good. In this one, in the stenciling paste, I've also added some sparkling glitter to match the sparkling lights from this photo. This is my daughter at the Hunter Valley. I've got two frames for this one. As you can see, I've gutted them out because I like to maximise my use of my cardstock, and these were actually scraps from my scrap pile. I'm using on this layout the printables from Lisa, and this is the Hearts and Stars Festive Collection, and I'm also using these ones here, and I'm going to use that green tag from Positivity Blooms, and I'm using some of these. I've got the speech bubble and the flowers from this one, and this too is from the Positivity Blooms selection of printables from Lisa's group. I'm using the background cardstock from there. I've printed out the patterns bold check there. I'm using the rainbows from the Positivity Blooms printables. I'm also going to use the pink dot ones from the Positivity Blooms, the zigzag, which is actually one of my favourite ones with the thing, and the stars to highlight the stars and the twinkle effect of this being a Christmas lights display. Using my Cricut Joy and Design Space, I've created a title, so I always run them through the Xyron sticker makers. It makes it so much easier. Little bits I remove with my awl. I know people use tweezers and things like that, but no, I don't do that. I just use my fingers. It works just as well and as fast. And as you can see, I'm just clearing out the little extra bits that are cut so that the letters are clean. And the title that I've chosen for this page is Spread Your Wings. So once I've got my title ready, I can start working on the layout. Now I have got my photo, and I'm behind the photo in the mat to match the sketch that you've seen. I need to have two complementary mats. I've also gone ahead and fussed out all the elements that I'm going to use for this layout, and I'm really sorry about the camera angle. I'm just working it out. I've just changed where I video from, and I'm still working out my spacings. Here I've cut those papers from the Positivity Blooms printables into strips of 1 inch. I'm going to use these to create my diagonal triangle sides of the layout. I think that I like the strip part that was in the layout, but I wanted to add something a little bit more creative. So you can see them on the sides there, and that's what those strips are going to be used to create. I'm taking I'm going to use my distressing tool because I don't want them just to be flat. So I'm using my Tim Holtz distressing tool, and I'm going to rough up the edges of each of those strips. 3 of them I'm going to do. I've cut out 5 for each one because I'll show you what I'm going to do with the other 2, but for 3 of them I'm going to rough up both sides, and that will give it a little bit of dimension, and it'll give a little bit of interest to the page. And a bit of a glitch there, I don't know what happened there, it froze. So you can see that I'm roughing it up, and this gives, as I said, another look or another effect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do all of these, and I'll show you when they're all done. So they're all done now, and I have got 3 from each of the designs because I'm going to be layering them, and I've already gone ahead and used my double-sided tape on the back. For the other ones, I'm going to add these to the strips as overlays, and I've rolled the ends to create some interest. So it looks like that it's peeling it back. So what I do is I just start at the end and I just carefully roll the paper and just making it a nice little tight roll. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do further with that as we move on. But if I roll it and just give it a little bit of a pinch and then a re-squeeze, and it just holds it in place. There's no need to stick it for this page because I'm going to show you what we're doing. Alright, so I've done that to all of those extra strips because I'm going to use all of those in a moment and we'll need them for the page. I'm taking a piece of yellow cardstock that I have, and that's going underneath because the backing paper is yellow, and where I've roughed up the edges or distressed the edges, I'm going to layer them on and then layer them, and some little bit of the yellow will show through, and that's why I chose yellow as my backing. So I'm going to layer them up, as you can see, and this is really important that you just make sure that they're all straight and in as tight as possible, and there is a little bit of yellow showing, and that's okay. I'm then going to trim down the sides, and I think I might add a little bit down the bottom just to extend it so it is exactly 12 by 12. So now I'm going to fold it in half so I can get my triangles, and they're not exactly straight triangles because I need that little bit of a gap as is by the sketch. That will run along the top and the bottom of the page to make it sit evenly. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my scissors, and you can see that I have now got a clean fold line. With my scissors, I'm going to cut straight up that diagonal, and it doesn't matter that it's not exactly straight because I'm going to show you why. What I'm doing with it, I'm making it look a little bit more distressed, as I said, to add that little bit more dimension to it. So there I have done it. I now have my 2 diagonal triangle-y type shapes, and they will go on either side of the layout. With my distressing tool again, as you can see, I'm going to just rough the edges as indicated by the sketch. With the rolled paper, I am now going to layer that over the strip. So it looks like I'm tearing it or I'm peeling it back to reveal. And you can see when it goes on that that looks quite effective because it looks like I peeled it back but there's still a layer underneath. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my awl, and I'm going to put in 2 holes, one on either side of the roll, as you can see here. And I'm just making sure that you can see the 2 holes. And then with a needle and some crochet cotton, I've chosen white for this, I am going to thread it through the holes, and then I'm going to tie it off. And I'm doing it tied off with a rough knot. I'm not doing bows or anything like that, I'm just tied off like a knot. So it looks like a bit of a scroll happening on there. With my scissors, I'm going to trim off the excess, and then you can see that I now have a tied off, rolled off scroll, and it adds just that little bit more interest to what would be just a very flat surface. I've gone and worked my way through both sides for you, so you can see that I've added bits right across. It looks like I've peeled back, and on the other side I've done the alternate. So they're not exactly on each side, but they are parallel, and it looks like it's a peeled back piece of an addition to the page. As I said, when I layer it up, and you can see I didn't actually look at my background very well when I was doing it, so I'm actually covering up too much of the face. If I was to do it again, I'd sort of rotate the bottom page so that I would see more of the stars throughout, but that's okay because I've overcome it later on. As I said, I distressed the edge here, so you can see they're roughed up now, so they're not flat on there. I now use my double-sided tape, and I love my double-sided tape, and I use it Xpress It. That's my double-sided preferred, and I'm just having a bit of trouble getting that off now. pulling that off, and then I'm marrying it corner to corner so that it fits nice and tight. I do it on the opposite side, and as you can see, I've covered up most of my modelling paste, which was very thoughtless of me, but if I was to do it again, like I said, I would reverse it and there'd be more star show. Now I'm going to take my 2 frames with my photo, and I'm going to put my double-sided tape to the back of my photo. I always leave the sides because I like to tuck things under. Maybe not in this one, but I do in others. Now I've got to make sure that that goes down flat and do it evenly so that it's nice and smooth. And you can see I'm going to move that page so it is flat on the board. Then I'm going to stick the next one, the next frame, onto the lower frame. So I now have 2 colours highlighting my photo, and that's going to allow it to be lifted off the paper, off the page, instead of being just a flat photo. As you can see, there's the photo. That edge there is annoying me. It's sticking up a bit, so I'm going to put a bit of tape underneath just to fix that one. Sometimes that happens, I don't know why. There you go. Now it's now flat on the page. Bringing in those 2 contrasting colours, I'm going to cut a bit more off that frame. It's a bit too big. I'm going to layer them in behind. Lots of layers makes it stand out nicely. Putting 3 layers of tape here to hold it in place. That's my first one. I'm going to layer it again. So there you go. You can see that I've layered that in. Now I've taken that Positivity Blooms tag and I've cut it in half because on the sketch it's got like a frame on the side. So I thought I'd use the tag as my frame. I'm going to put one on one side, and using my board I'm measuring it up so that I can make sure they are actually in the right spot so that they're balanced. And as you can see, when you turn it over, there's the tag on either side, and now you can see it on the layout because the colours contrast the Positivity Blooms on the diagonals. I use pop tape here because I don't want it flat, and also because of the rolls underneath. And yes, I am covering up the rolls, but that's how designs work. I know some people don't do the other bits underneath, but I have. And here I'm adding the butterfly to pop that butterfly that was already on that green tag, but adding a bit more so that it's now a dimension on there. Once again, I do apologise for the filming. I am working out that structure. So I'm a little bit off screen at times, and what I'm doing here is I'm just putting pop tape on the back of the butterfly and I'm layering it down onto the tag. What I'm going to do now is I'm layering out where I think everything will fit, and that's part of the process, moving it around, looking at it, judging it, building, correcting, all those sorts of things. So I'm making sure that title is stuck down and not going to fall off in the future. Alright, so I'm just now going to build my element or my ephemera or whatever you like clusters, and my embellishment clusters, because there are 3 on this layout, 3 clusters. I'm going to work the flowers to the best advantage, as you can see, looking where best to place them, how to match them, make sure that the colours are complementary, they don't overrule or don't overpower what I want them to do. And now sometimes it's easier to just lay them out and have a look first before fastening them into spots and then going, no, I don't like it. So these Positivity Blooms printables are great. They're nice and bright. You can print them out on cardstock or you can print them out on paper. I've done these on cardstock. I like to do them on a thin white cardstock, so it makes the colours pop and also makes the workability so much better. Alright, so I'm layering up here, and don't forget these are only just being placed so I can work it out in my head when I go to actually fix it permanently. Now I'm looking up the top here, and it's got move that title over a little bit so that it's fitting into the space as per the sketch. And as you can see, it's starting to look really pretty. I don't like that blank space, as I said. I put it round the wrong way, so I'm going to fix that easily by pulling out the stencil again. I'm going to grab my distresser, and I think I'm using Tim Holtz's red barn door, I think that is, but I'm only doing it lightly because I don't want it to overpower. And I'm just going to put a few into that blank spot to complement the nice. So they're all now sealed down because I did that off camera, so that you can see where the clusters are, you can see the added stars, and there you are. The last thing that I need to do is I always like to either date it or journal it or put some information on it. Now this is actually going into my Christmas album, so I really don't need to journal it too much. I'm just putting who it is, which is my daughter, where it was at the Hunter Valley Gardens, and I'm going to use my date stamp, which is already set to the date that we went there, and I'm going to use that using archival black ink because it doesn't smudge. And there we have the date put in, and that is basically how this layout came together. I'm now going to, as I always do, finish off with my little bit of Nuvo or pops of colour as it is in this one. I'm using the pops of colour in the yellow gold colour, and my friend always says adding the extra bits to zhuzh it. I'm zhuzhing it up. I like to zhuzh my projects. So once I've done that, I'm just giving them a quick little flick underneath so that they flatten out a bit more like an enamel dot. And then we just let that dry, and when that dries, you have your finished project. So here is my project finalized, and you can have a look. I've been using the printables from the premium Scrapasketch, which I'm a part of the creative team. Please make sure that you follow my journey with Scrapasketch on all of my socials. If you do, you can use my code at checkout. Here's my Instagram, and that's where you can follow me. And don't forget, join us at Scrapasketch on Facebook. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if something caught your attention.